having you here. Let me share a different screen or stop sharing so we can see each other. I would like to introduce Maria Alejandra. I don't know, how do you want me to introduce you, Maria? I think that it's going to be better if you introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Alejandra Hernandez. I go by Ale. I go by Maria, Mari, Alejandra. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Penn State University Latino Club students, and thank you, Dr. Patricia Aguilera from Latino Hispanic Professional Association for allowing this event to come together. So thank you all. So my name is Maria Alejandra Hernandez. I'm the Community Cares Coordinator for MILPA. MILPA stands Movement of Immigrant Leaders in Pennsylvania, and we advocate for immigrant and refugee families in our state regardless of their immigration status. We are actually leading a campaign called Driving PA Forward, along with 20 other organizations for the right of driver's licenses for all regardless of immigration status, along with other campaigns that are helping our immigrant families across the state. And we are here today to have a presentation, have a conversation for our Hispanic community or immigrant community to be able to provide a path to higher education. So our Penn State students of Harrisburg campus of the Latino Club are going to tell us how they did it. Así es como lo hice. So this is how I did it. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm gonna now pass it over to Dr. Aguilera. You could please introduce yourself. Thanks so much.
I am Dr. Aguilera. I am a professor at Penn State Harrisburg, but today I'm not here as a professor. I am here as the Vice President of the Latino Hispanic Professionals Association. We have our president here, and one of our characteristics is to be shakers, movers of the Latino community. We believe in our community and we think that we are amazing and we want everybody to know it. Before I share the communication with Dr. Lucas, which is the president of the LHPA, which is our organization, I want to say that I'm very, very, very proud of the Latino students, the Latino Club students. Why? Because it's not easy to do things just by yourself. Number one, being in a club requires commitment, requires power, requires effort. Nobody's going to be behind you. You have to organize everything by yourself. You have to propose things and get in contact with other people. Even though you have to do homework, you have to have exams, you have your parents, you have to check your food. So I want to recognize the effort that they are doing. And I want to say that I'm really, really proud of these young Latino ladies. So with that, let me receive Dr. Lucas, which is the president of the LHPA.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. Just again, one more time, acknowledge Dr. Aguilera for representing LHPA and working with Samantha and all the students, the Latino students at Penn State Harrisburg to have this event together. And for Maria Alejandra for getting all the other students involved in this event. So I think it would be a great opportunity for us to start collaborating and making sure that our students, both who are in college right now and those who are in high school who want to come to college, get the tools they need and get all the resources they need to make sure they do a great job in their academic career. So once again, on behalf of Latino Hispanic Professional Association, I want to welcome. I won't be staying the whole time, but I'll be here for a little while. So again, thank you.
Well, then I think that we are all ready. Welcome to people that are here, Trinity, Ajaida, is that the pronunciation?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you, David. Thank you for being here. We don't know if we're going to have more people, but the important ones are here. And this is recorded because we want to help other students in the future. But from here, we are all yours. Welcome, Latino PSU students.
Thank you so much, Maria Alejandra, Dr. Lukis, and Dr. Aguilera, for one, putting us in contact with MILPA. And we are very, very happy to be able to do this event. My name is Samantha Renteria. I am the president of the Latino Club this year, and I will let my fellow panelists present themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Renata, and I am the Vice President of Latino Club. I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm going to let Melanie go next.
Hi, my name is Melanie Castillo, and I'm a Latino Club member.
Hi, I'm Karen Charleston, and I am the Latino Club Secretary.
Hi, my name is Carolina Hernandez, and I am a member of the Latino Club as well.
And we all brought a little bit of a different points of view and different things that we think might help you. So with that said, I'm going to let Karen go first.
Okay, so hello. As I mentioned, my name is Karen Charleston or Karen Charleston. I am a psychology major here at Penn State Harrisburg, and I have a pre-medicine focus. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York, but my parents were born and raised in La República Dominicana, so I am Dominican American. And today I will be presenting on the college application process. And see. Okay, so before you even start, juniors and seniors, before you start applying to colleges, the first thing you should do is create a tangible list of schools. So a list of schools that you can visually see, that you can hold in your hand, and that you can keep track of. These schools can be picked based on location, if they have a certain major that you want, if you can afford them, different clubs, sports, and many different types of factors. Once you have a list of about 3 to 5 schools to start off, you should go to each school's website and find their application deadline. And right next to the school's name, write down their deadline dates so you can keep track of them. So during the application, or in every college application, there can be 4 different types of application deadlines. The first 2, regular decision and rolling admissions, are kind of similar. Regular decision has a deadline of the first week of January, and you can usually receive your acceptance letter by March. Rolling admission also has a deadline of the first week of January, but the sooner you submit your application, the sooner you can receive the application letter. Early decision and early action, they both have a deadline of around November 1st to November 15th. It can vary between schools. But if you apply with early decision, if you get accepted into that school, you are obligated to attend that one school. So I wouldn't recommend applying for early decision unless you have one specific school that you're set on attending. Early action, you basically just apply early and you'll be able to receive the acceptance letter early, but it doesn't bind you to that one school. You're still allowed to be accepted into other schools and consider other schools during the application process. So once you have the list of schools and you know the deadlines, I would recommend creating an account on Common App, which is a website that a lot of colleges use for the application process. In order to make this account and to fill out their general questions, you would need an unofficial copy of your transcript, a list of activities that you do, which can include work, hobbies, family responsibilities, your test scores and the dates that you've taken the test, your parent/guardian information, and academic honors and achievements. Usually some schools require you to put in your own grades, I think it's called SARS, or student reported academics. So that's why you would need an unofficial copy of a transcript. And once you have an account on Common App, you can add the schools on your list, on your tangible list, to the Common App and start your application process. So some school requirements that you will find in addition to the general requirements of the Common App are the application deadline, the SAT, ACT policy, or just standardized testing policy, an application fee, recommendation requirements, and a personal essay or writing supplements. So while applying to different universities, some universities may require you to pay to apply for them, which I know college is a lot. It's a lot of financial responsibility, but if you're determined to go, you can be able to achieve it. And one of the ways that you can actually waiver an application fee is if you qualify for free or reduced lunch. You can just talk to your guidance counselor about receiving an application fee waiver, which is what I did. And I was able to receive one for different college applications. Also, some schools, if you tour their campus, they give you an application fee waiver. And if you're not able to tour the school due to COVID and just the way things are now, you can also just email their admissions office, tell them your situation, and you never know if they'll be able to give you an application fee waiver. Always just find out information, never be too shy or too scared to ask, because that's where you can find the most opportunities, by asking. Recommendations for recommendation letters. Usually schools can require 2 to 3 recommendation letters from teachers, advisors, coaches, or employees. I would recommend to ask the people that you want to send a recommendation letter to at least a month before you plan on submitting the application. A lot of teachers and advisors, they have their own lives. They're very busy, and you asking them to write you a recommendation letter will take some time. So giving them at least a month would be the best. And after, let's say, about 2 weeks or like halfway through the month, you can remind them, check in with them, see how they're going in the process of writing their recommendation letter. Also, FERPA release, you will most likely need to sign this. And what this release basically is, when you sign it, you're agreeing to not reading the recommendation letters that either the teacher, advisor, coach, or employer has written for you, to maintain confidentiality and a more honest recommendation that you didn't influence, basically. And then the writing requirements. Some colleges require a personal essay, which is your chance to show schools who you are beyond being a student. Here you can include why, or like just the type of person you are. What are your morals, your values? What are your passions, what you like to do, and why college will help you improve as a person, help you reach your goals, and things like that. If colleges don't require the personal essays, you will usually have to fill out short prompts, which would basically be just questions that they ask you, and you fill out the questions, answer the questions. Some colleges also, they give you the opportunity of explaining certain answers to questions through writing supplements. So if let's say from your freshman year to your sophomore year, you started off good, but then something happened in your life and your grades started to go down, some colleges may actually give you the opportunity to explain why your grades went down and then up and that sort of thing. So you should definitely take advantage of that opportunity if you are given it, because it could be the determining factor in your acceptance. And yeah, my presentation is done. I wish you all the best of luck. I know that This is probably a very stressful time, especially with COVID, but I know that you can get through this because you all are smart and talented individuals. And thank you.
I just want to add something real quick. Please, 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 you guys, go and check if your school does the waiver, the fee waiver, because money, let me tell you, it adds up. Personally, I'm just gonna say I was dumb, and I knew that I could have gotten waived, but I was like, it's not that much. And then I checked again, I was like, oh my gosh, it's $50 to just apply for the school. So please, 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 if your school has a waiver, go and do it. Talk to your counselor. If you go, like Karen said, if you go on a visit, make sure that you get that waived fee because money adds up.
I'll just add one more thing too. Karen, you did a great job. So there's another opportunity. It's usually some schools have like college and career fairs. Like many high schools, they tend to host them. So it's college and career fairs, and lots of colleges go, they set up booths, and you can go to those events and kind of ask more information about the college. But many times they do on the spot admission. So when I was in high school, I actually attended one, and that same day I got 4 admissions on the spot, and the fee is waived. So whenever you go to events like that, make sure you dress professional. You take copies of letters of recommendations if you have them, your resume, some writing, your SAT scores. And those are very beneficial events. So if you could find any, I definitely recommend attending.
And now that we are just saying things in between, I will say something. We are very glad that we are having different students from Mrs. Fender, Spanish class from Harrisburg. So, well, we're very happy that all of you are here, but I just wanted to mention, sorry, we can continue with our panel.
Well, thank you very much, Karen. Hello, everybody. My name is Carolina Hernandez. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I am a freshman psychology major. So all this process, I literally went all over this about a year ago. So I am very fresh off, and it's a struggle, but we're gonna get through this. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about college sports and scholarships. Just to let you know, I am a volleyball player, so I am on the volleyball team here in Penn State Harrisburg. And I went through all this process, and I have to say I started very late in the process, so I struggled a lot. I started about halfway through my senior year, which is very, very late for a recruit, but I still got in. So everything is good. Even if you haven't followed the timeline that I'm gonna say now, it's okay, just go for it, because you never know. What's meant for you is meant for you. So the first thing to learn is the NCAA division. So the NCAA is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, and it is a member-led organization that is dedicated to the well-being and lifelong success of college athletes. So practically what it is it's an organization that directs each university and divides it in different divisions to make sure that the competitiveness is kept and you're not competing with someone in a higher level. So saying this, there are also other different type of organizations, for example, the NAIA and the NJCHH. Same thing, just each college has different types that they belong to, but they mainly belong to the NCAA. Saying that, the NCAA is divided in 3 divisions. So Division 1 is the most competitive of all of them. They travel nationally and even sometimes to other countries just to compete. They give out the largest amount of scholarships, but they give out very little ones. So large in amount, but very little in quantity. So it's very, very competitive to get in this division. Usually 1 out of 25 students are athletes, and in this division, they value more sports over education. So you are expected to put sports over everything else. So it is much harder and much more taxing to be in this division. Division 2 is an in-between between very, very competitive and not so competitive. So it's very moderate. They do travel nationally and regionally. They do give out more scholarships than Division III, but it's a little more easier to get in. And here we have 1 out of 11 student are athletes. So we see that, again, we see that education is a little more important here than sports. So there's a lot more balance in between students. And then we have Division III, which is what Penn State Harrisburg is actually in. Division III is moderate level competition. Doesn't mean there's none at all. They're just a little less. They don't travel nationally. They usually just maintain themselves in their region or just locally with universities that are right next to each other. They don't offer athletic scholarships, but usually if you talk to your coach and you get recruited, your coach can talk to the academic part and they can give you an academic scholarship to try to get you in through there. That's what I did. So it's not a direct athletic scholarship, but you kind of get by with that. And then it's not that much of an amount, but you see less student athletes, and here definitely education is way before athletics. And yeah, that's practically what those divisions are. And then in that are the conferences. So the NCAA is think of it like a tree. The NCAA is the top part, and under the NCAA, we have different conferences, and that is what divides universities in different regions. So depending where your university is located on the map is the conference that they belong to. This big conference that we have right here, the NEAC, is the one that Penn State Harrisburg belongs to. And that just groups together the ones that are local, and we just compete between each other. And then at the end, inside each division, they compete with each other. So if Penn State Harrisburg was to win our conference, then we can go on and play in the big NCAA tournament. And then that's when you see the big winners that end up with cash prizes and all that thing you see on TV. But yeah, then we have the famous Big Ten, the Pac-12, which is where the big football is all about. So yeah, those are the different conferences. And scholarships, here I put a little table of how scholarships are usually divided. We see that, yes, there's more amount in Division I, but they do give it out less to people. And it's very hard, very competitive to get in it. And here I added also the other divisions and their scholarships that they give out. And so timeline. Here I've added a brief timeline for what you should be doing each year that you're in high school. Again, I want to really say that this is really important. You don't have to follow this to a T. I started very late and still got recruited. I did all of these 4 slides in 1 semester, not even in 1 semester. I did it in 2 months. And I still got recruited. So anything is possible. This is just if you can and you have time and you really want to play sports, you can do it. So freshman year, you should decide that you want to pursue sports in college. So that means you have to start filming your big tournaments, your games. You need to take your training seriously, start going to the gym, maybe talking to your coach and getting after practice sessions one-on-one with your coach. Try to get as much reps as you can to start progressing. And now you have to start composing your college list to make sure that the division you're striving for, you're training for it. So it is also important to start filming since your freshman year. So when you edit your video at the end, which I'll explain what the video is, you need to show improvement of how you progressed. So on your sophomore year, you should keep on filming. You should look for tournaments that are maybe not just local, but national. So you go out, maybe you'll have college coaches going to watch you. That way you can get exposure. You can keep training and you need to keep refining your college list. When you get into your junior year, you need to already have a college in mind, the one you want to strive for. You need to look for summer camps in that university because that's where coaches tend to recruit. You need to start contacting coaches. You need to email them, call them, follow them on social media, get on apps that you can start contacting them, let them start seeing your profile. And here's the part where I like to call it a chase. You can't take no for an answer. You need to email them every week, every month. You need to go. You can't stop until you get a no, because you never know, a spot could open, or maybe they see, wow, this one's really determined. Maybe I should give her a second chance. So it's very important to keep on going. You should edit your highlight video together, which is You're going to be recording yourself playing and you're going to edit it all together. You can look it up on YouTube, different examples. And it's just like, these are videos for volleyball, for example. These are videos of me serving. These are videos of me setting. This is videos of me passing. And then the coach sees you playing and maybe they'll be interested in go to one of your actual games, see you in person. Maybe they'll want more. I actually got recruited off my video, just my video. She didn't see me play. So it is really good to do that and just keep on talking to your coaches all the time. And then your senior year, if you haven't already committed to university, keep on emailing them, keep on being on top of them. Negotiate scholarship offers with your coaches so you can always say no, maybe ask for more. Compare your offers between your universities, and finally commit to one and sign with them, which is the famous signing when you have a little everybody your family there and you sign a little document, they publish it. That's the whole thing. And just prepare for your preseason. And this is just an example of all that compiled together. And in the end, I just want to say again, resume, search for colleges in the divisions that you are interested in. So don't just stay in Division 1, look in all of them because you never know. Look for the ones that give out good scholarships. Don't feel bad if you don't get in. Keep trying, keep insisting, keep emailing. Look for colleges in the regions you like. Research the coaches of the teams and see their past history. How have they won? How do they have seniors leaving that you could possibly fill their spots? Keep in mind that the higher the division, the more competitive it is, the earlier you need to start, and the more you need to be communicative. Consider being a walk-on, which is just going in with no scholarship and just trying out for the team. Do not settle, negotiate offers, and always be polite, responsible when communicating, and be always there insistent, because that's what they truly look for. And I just want to leave you guys with a quote that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So work hard, guys. Thank you.
All right, so I believe I am going next. So my name is Melanie Castillo. I am a third-year student majoring in secondary education, focused in social studies. I was born and raised in Maryland. Both my parents are Mexican, and I ended up going out of state for college because Penn State was a school I really wanted to attend. So I'm going to be talking about a topic that often causes a lot of stress for students when thinking about going to college, which is the financial. Because many times we know that we want to go to college, but the thing is we don't know how we're going to pay for it. So we're going to go straight into money for college. So I'll be talking about federal student aid. Federal student aid comes directly from the federal government. So this is money that helps pay for students' educational expenses. Federal student aid covers tuition fees, room and board, books and supplies, transportation, and also computer/technology. So if you're starting school and you don't have a computer, your federal student aid could actually help you make that purchase. So there's three main types of federal student aid. The first one is a grant. So grant money usually, I'm going to emphasize, usually does not have to be repaid. Grants are usually based on the student's financial need. The next one is work study. So work study money is earned by students working on their campus. This money is not repaid because as a student, you're working for it, and that's how you get that money. The next one is a loan. Loans must be repaid and with interest. So next, I'm gonna go down and break into them. So federal grants, there's quite a few grants, but I just put 3 on the screen. So the first one is the federal Pell Grant. So this is up to $6,345 per year. So this is for undergraduates with financial needs who do not have a bachelor or professional degree yet. A federal supplement education opportunity grant is up to $4,000 per year. This is for undergraduates who have exceptional financial needs. If you qualify for the federal Pell Grant, you can also qualify for the federal supplement education opportunity grant. The next one is a Teach Grant, which is $4,000 per year. And this is for any undergraduate who's considering a career in the education field. So next we have federal work study. So your total award depends on one, when you apply. So the sooner you apply, the more likely you'll get a spot within the work study. The second is your level of financial need. And the third is your school's level of funding. Not all schools have the same amount of funding, so there's less spots for them to do work study. So here at Penn State Harrisburg, a typical work study job would be working in our cafeteria. So you could be working with food and housing, you could be working in an office as a receptionist. It differs campus to campus, but those are examples of some of the jobs that you could do if you qualify for the program. The third is federal student loans. So again, these are loans. They accumulate interest and they have to be repaid. So one of the more popular loans is a direct subsidized loan. So who is this for? This is for any undergraduate student who has financial needs. They have to be enrolled in a university for at least half time. So they can award up to $5,550, and this is per year, by the way, and it depends on the grade level you are in and your dependency status. So for your interest, sorry, let me move this screen so I can see. So for this interest, it can change year to year. For the students who got the loan this year, they have a fixed interest. However, usually the interest of this changes year to year. So if you get it your freshman year, you may have an interest of 2%, but maybe your sophomore year, it increased to a 3%. So that's just something to keep in mind with a direct subsidized loan. The next loan is a direct unsubsidized loan. So this is for undergraduates, and you have to be enrolled at least half-time. However, this is not, you don't have to have financial needs for this loan. And you can get up to $20,500 with this loan. And then for this, interest rates can also change every year. And again, if whoever has the loan this year, it's stable, so it's fixed, it doesn't change. The next one is a direct parent loan. So this loan is for parents of dependent undergraduate students. So if you're a student and you're a dependent, so your parents still have you as a dependent, your parents actually could qualify for a loan to pay for your education. So the loan would be in their name instead of yours. So for this, you have to be enrolled at least as a half-time, and you do not need to have financial need for this loan. So how much can you get per year? Well, the maximum amount is the cost of attendance minus any other financial aid you receive. So let's say at your university, it costs $20,000 to attend per year. And let's say you already got a scholarship, and that scholarship's $5,000. So this loan can only give you $15,000. So for this loan, the interest rate also changes every year. So that's something to also keep in mind. So I just want to do a stop. Wait a minute. So before we continue, we have to consider a few things. First, before you make any decision of accepting any financial aid, it's important to do research. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Second, pay attention to interest. And third, only take what you need. I just wrote a little bit here about don't let your interest capitalize. So with unsubsidized loans and Parent Plus loans, the interest accumulates on these loans before you even begin repayment. So usually with loans, while you're in school, so while you're a student, you're not required to pay your loan. Your loans are paid the moment, they start being paid the moment you graduate. So lots of people take that as an opportunity to not pay a single thing. However, every year, your interest adds on to your base payment. So I would recommend, if possible, start paying just the interest while you are in school, and that will help a lot in the long run. So, okay. So I have a quick example here of how interest works, because I think it's really important, and it's a trap that many students fall into because they don't understand it or no one explains it to them. So let's say I'm a freshman and the first year I get a loan for $5,000 because that's what I need to finish paying my semester or my year. And for this example, I exaggerated the interest rates just because it's easier to do the math this way. And my interest rates are not fixed. So here I have that they're going to increase 2% per year. Again, this is just part of my example. Every loan is different. So I have a $5,000 base loan with a 10% interest rate. So by the end of my first year, I'm going to pay $5,500 in total because that's my base plus my 10% interest. My second year, I still have this debt. I have $5,500, but my interest rate increased. So now I have to pay $6,160 because my base was $5,500 and my new interest for the whole base was $660. So because of the 2 years of interest, I now have to pay $1,160 on top of my original $5,000. So this, as I said, this isn't a super exaggerated example. However, I just wanted to show the impact of interest and how over time it accumulates. Okay, so now I know about the money, but where do I apply? So that takes me directly to here. So if you go to studentaid.gov, you will go to the Federal Student Aid website. They also have an app. On the website or app, you can start the application process for FAFSA. The website has a lot of resources to actually learn about who's eligible, when I can apply, where I can apply, what do I need to apply. And here's a general timeline of when to apply. So if you're planning to attend college between July 1st of 2021 and June 30th of 2022, you have to submit the 2021 and 2022 FAFSA form. You can start submitting this form starting October 1st, 2020, all the way until June 30th, 2022. So sometimes this can really be confusing. So every year, October 1st, the FAFSA application opens up to everyone. So you can apply up to a year ahead of when you're starting college. So that's something to keep in mind. And that's all I have. Thank you. Here's my email. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact me and I can help you in any way I can. Thank you.
Sorry, 1 second. I just have to, technology fails me. Okay. Hi again, my name is Renata Proaño and I am from Ecuador, but I've lived in Maryland most of my life, and I am currently a sophomore biology major at Penn State Harrisburg. So today I'm going to talk about scholarships because, like Melanie said, paying for school is very stressful and expensive, and you don't want to have to worry about that. So one way you can take care of that is to apply for scholarships. So there are different types of scholarships, so they're not all based on your grades. You do have the merit-based scholarships, which you will need to have like a good GPA score or a high enough PSAT or SAT score. Then there are also need-based scholarships where depending on how much your parents make or how much financial aid you're eligible for, that depends like how much you will get. There are also scholarships for interests and skills. So if you play soccer, if you play the violin, if you have been in an art show, anything like that that you have that is a special skill unique to you, you can apply to a scholarship for. There are also ones for cultural backgrounds. So you can apply to scholarships based on your religion, your ethnicity, if you're a first generation student, which is something that I was, and that was also how I got some of my scholarships. You can also apply by nationality. There are so many different ways that you can find scholarships. And there are also ones based on your major. So for STEM, humanities, and arts, you can basically find them for anything that you have that is a unique quality to you. So when you're looking for scholarships, you might want to think about who might award these scholarships. So you have small local organizations. So like if there's a store nearby or a small company, they might offer scholarships that you can apply to. They will also have large companies such as Pepsi, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, all those big companies that offer scholarships. Those offer a lot more money than some smaller scholarships might offer. But you have to keep in mind that because so many people know that company, they'll have a larger applicant pool. So it's not impossible to get those, but it's a little bit harder just because you have so many people applying. So you do also want to look into the smaller scholarships. And another thing, there are diversity recruitment teams at colleges and universities, and they are looking specifically to get minority students into their universities. So they will offer scholarships through that. You just have to be willing to reach out, find out if your school offers that, and don't be afraid to ask. There will also be employers. So for example, Bank of America is one that if your parents work there, you can apply to scholarships. I don't know if they're still doing it, but look into your parents' scholarships or your parents' companies, or if you have a job, like maybe at a grocery store. I know that some places do pay for their students' tuition, or they offer scholarships if you've been working there long enough. So Penn State has a really large alumni network, and we have different alumni networks in smaller parts of the country. And for example, their alumni organizations will offer scholarships to local students. So Penn State's Potomac Valley offers Potomac Valley students scholarships to go to Penn State. So always look around for different organizations, small and large companies, because there will be so many different places that offer scholarships. And where to start searching. So first of all, you can email your admissions counselors at schools that you have been applying to. It doesn't hurt to ask. You might just want to reach out and say, hi, I'm really interested in going to your school, but this is my situation. Are there any monies available, or do you know of any scholarships that I could apply? And the worst they could say is no, so it doesn't hurt to ask. There are also sites that help you search for many scholarships at a time. So Immigrant Rising is one website that has scholarships that don't require proof of citizenship, and it just lists a bunch alphabetically by date. It has deadlines. Keep in mind that the deadlines vary depending on the scholarship. So when you're searching, kind of make a list of, okay, this one's due December, this one's due January, and try to apply to them like the earliest that you can, because some of them will take that into consideration and see how early you applied to them. There's also the FastWeb National Scholarship Directory. And again, those are ones that you can type, okay, so I play violin, or if you're looking for a company alphabetically, they have a bunch of scholarships listed that you can look into. Sallie Mae is another tool that you can use. They have scholarships. They also help out with loans. But specifically for scholarships, you can make a profile and they will suggest scholarships, or they might say, oh, like this one works for you. And they will also list out the amount. The College Board Big Future site is also a really helpful one. And again, these are just places to start, but I recommend that after you've gone through the bigger scholarships that are listed on here, you look into local organizations or your employer, anywhere that you can find them, really, because the more money that you can get to pay for college, the better. And some advice I have when you're searching for scholarships is to apply to both small and large organization scholarships, because like I said, the larger scholarships will probably have a larger applicant pool, so it might not be as easier to get them, but you still have a chance, you never know. And with the smaller ones, again, they might not offer as much, but you might have a better chance of getting them. And a lot of people will not apply to scholarships that are like $500 or $1,000 because they'll think, why would I need that? But I think any small amount of money adds up to a lot. Even if you have $1,000 per semester, that pays for books. And that's one less thing to worry about. So don't be like too picky, just apply to as many as you can because you're not guaranteed to get all of them. So if you can get a few, that's great. And that's gonna help you. Keep in mind that typically when you apply to scholarships, if they ask you to pay money before you apply, or if they ask for too personal information, such as your social security, they could be scams. So don't apply to any that make you pay for them. Look into whether or not they're real, look up reviews, see if there are people saying don't apply, because people will take advantage of you because this is a really stressful time and you want to make sure that you don't fall into any scams. So the best thing I can say is apply to many and apply early. Don't be afraid to ask. Again, the worst thing that they could say is no. And just ask your admissions counselors, is there any money that I could earn? Do you know of any scholarships? Just ask around, apply to as many. And my dad always says that things don't come to people who sit around. You have to make things happen. So if you want a scholarship, apply, get it, and the work will pay off. So I know senior year, you wanted to take it easy, but apply to scholarships because then you will not be stressed out when you get to college. And that's it for me. I didn't add my email, but it is rap5732@psu.edu. Okay.
All right, you guys. Well, now that we've gone through the process of how to apply financial aid, sports, now I want to get you guys into the mindset of, okay, what do I do when I'm actually there? When I actually get to the college, how do I go about it? So the first thing I want to talk about is orientation. Orientation is when you're going to meet most of the people at that point. And the one thing I want to say the most is don't be stressed out if you're like a little too shy or a little quiet. I would say go and talk to as many people as you possibly can, because that will make the transition a little bit easier. And that's whenever you can start making friends. Like, oh, I've seen you before. I saw your orientation. Like, oh, whenever you get to classes, you can actually start putting names to faces, and it will make it a lot easier. I would also say get into as many clubs and organizations as you possibly can. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. Clubs will make your life go a lot easier because you have a support group right there. So a lot of schools will have involvement fairs, which let you see what clubs and organizations the school has to offer. That said, you can pick and choose which clubs you like and which ones you don't. And obviously you don't have to join every single one of them, but a lot of them can be based on your interests. So like Penn State has a club that like lets you build a race car. So if you like race cars and you like to build stuff, well, you can go to that club, you know? Or if you based in your ethnicity or nationality, like for me, the Latino club, or my major with the psychology club. So there's a lot of clubs that will help you, and that will help you make connections that can better you off in the future. There's also often a lot of events that clubs hosts. So for example, the speed networking that the Latino Club held a couple of weeks ago, that applied for the whole campus, and we connected them with the LHPA professionals, and they now have connections that will help them out for their future. And they can always put that on your resume. And I know that, oh, you're talking about your resume. Oh, that's too soon. I'm still in high school. Trust me, you guys, these 4 years will fly by. I forgot to say, I'm a junior/senior in psychology. And I was born in Mexico, so sorry. But the years fly by. So as soon as you go into an event, or as soon as you participate in anything, put it in your resume, and clubs and organizations will help all of this make the transition a little bit easier. When it comes to academics, whenever you first go in and you're like, what classes am I going to take? What am I going to do with this? Go to your advisor, you guys. Don't be afraid to ask questions. This is something that you will hear me say over and over and over again because it's super important. Your advisors are there to help you and to make sure that you take the right classes in order for you to to achieve your major in the estimated time that you need. Also, if you come in undecided, it's totally fine. I came in as a pre-med major and I changed halfway through and I'm a psychology major. So it's totally okay to change your mind. Just talk to your advisor to see what classes you should add, drop if needed. So that will make it a lot easier. Also, a little tip for you guys. There's a website that's called Rate by Professor that will help you out so much because you can see what old students say about the professor, and that like if you see that a professor has a 1-point rating and that you were going to take that class, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't take it. It doesn't sound too well for me. Like I said, just keep in touch with your advisor because they're going to help you out throughout the years. It's not only when you're a freshman when you need them. Once the classes start, don't forget to reach out to your professors. Having a connection with your professors will make everything a lot easier because you're going to get to know them. And if you have questions, they're going to be there to help you. Also, let's say you are not doing too well, something's going on in your life, and you forget to go to class. Well, if you email your professor, you and him or her can arrange to something that might not just tank your grade completely, you know? So emailing them, they're very understanding. Most of the times they are there to help you. They don't want to see you fail. They want to see you succeed. That's what they're there for. Also, like I said, just go out there and meet more people. Meet people in your classes, reach out to them. It's going to be a way that you can help each other and study together. And peers, one of the things that I learned the most is that college without friends is a lot more difficult than you can imagine. They are there to support each other. So the more you meet people, the more you make friends, the easier it's going to be for you to make a transition. All right. COVID-19 is a new thing that we had to go through. And you guys are probably, if you're a senior, you're probably going to go through it next year because we don't know when this is going to end. So little tips that I'm going to share with you from personal experience, I will say, don't take classes in your bed. You will fall asleep, even if you're not trying to. Turn off your TV, phone, or any types of distractions, because when you're on a Zoom meeting the whole day, it's going to be very easy to just distract yourself. So put yourself in a nice, quiet, peaceful place to study and to be ready to learn. Don't skip class. It's very easy to skip class. Don't do it because with one class in college, you can learn so much that you will need for the next class and you're going to be super lost in the next class. So don't do it. It will only hurt you and it will not benefit you. Obviously, if you have something going on in your life, like I said, talk to your professors and just try to be in class. One thing that I will really, really stress on is read your syllabus, you guys. Your syllabus pretty much has everything that you have to do for the entire semester. And it's kind of like a contract. So once they put it there, it's going to be there in the assignments and you know when you're going to have it. So be ready for it. Do not procrastinate. Do not fall behind because it's something that will hurt you if you do. And like I said before, email your professors if needed. Do not wait until you're like with a D or an F possibly because it's really hard to come back from. One thing, colleges go off of the grade point average. And if you start off rocky, it's going to be a lot harder to bring your GPA back up. With that said, I want to say one more time, just check your school emails. And again, start your assignments as soon as you get them. Do not procrastinate because it's going to be rough. I know this is like your typical, oh yeah, don't procrastinate. And even if you procrastinate, you're gonna be fine. No, like I'm serious, you guys. It will get so much harder to wait until your last minute. because sometimes you might not expect it and you're like, oh wow, I have a test and I have to write this paper and I have to do all of this stuff, and it just gets too hectic, and that's when your mental health starts to tank. So don't let it happen. And just reach out if you have any questions. Just reach out to people. There's people there to help you, you guys. Always people there to help you. So just take advantage of that. With that said, I will now let it be open for questions. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to share them. We're here to answer them as best as we can.
Before we start with questions, we are very, very, very thankful with all of you. You did an amazing job. I said it at the beginning. I am so proud of you, and I know that you have a great future. For the ones that are seeing them, they were like you. They were high school students, full of fear, that didn't know what to do, but they are here. And as you can see, they are going to be excellent professionals in the same way that you can be. And that's what we want you to remember. I'm very, very sorry. And I know that Samantha can stay longer, and probably some of you, but I have to teach at 6 o'clock. So in the name of the LHPA, I want to say thank you for participants for being here. Camp Hill High School, the David, that is always amazing and supportive. He's part of the LHPA and is one of the members that usually is bringing help and connecting and being amazing as a member. He's a Latino that knows how to empower and put other Latinos up. And we all want to do that. Alejandra, Alejandra and Samantha, I'm so sorry that I have to leave, but I really have to teach in 3 minutes.
Yes.
So thank you all for being here. And I'm really, really proud of participants for being here and thinking ahead, and for presenters for the amazing job that you did.
Yes.
Sorry. Bye-bye, Alejandra and Samantha, you're in charge.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Aguilera. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I cannot leave because I think that I'm a host, but I'm going to mute myself, okay? And
Okay.
if I need to go to my other house, class, I think Samantha can continue with them. Well, in fact, I'm trying to leave. If there's a problem, Sam, you let me know. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, you guys. Now the floor is open for questions. If you guys have any, like I said, we're here to help as much as we possibly can.
And if si hay papás o mamás que estén en esta presentación, si tienen alguna pregunta o duda, por favor, ahora es una mesa abierta. So, por favor.
Actually, if nobody has questions yet, I wanted to add something.
Sure.
In college, there's gonna be you will have some professors that won't be in your favor, and something that you have to keep in mind is that you are your own advocate. You are fighting for yourself, and yes, you will have friends, you will have people to back you up, but always remember that if you need help, you have to go find that help, because that help is available, but you have to take the first step. Also, if you're having any trouble, maybe if a certain class isn't going well, you can go approach tutors. Usually schools have a learning center. You can go find tutors to help you in that subject. If you need if you just need to vent something out, a lot of schools have psychology centers where you can speak with school psychologists and just vent and just let all your stress and your worries out, so you can focus on your studies and focus on other things. But it's always important to not be afraid to ask questions, to seek help, because we're human. We're all going to need help eventually. And that's what the people at your schools are going to be there for. Like, that's their job. Their job is to help you, and they are there for you. So never be afraid of seeking out the help that you may need, because I know that's something that you may be afraid of as a freshman, but listen, it's okay. Like, that's their job. They're there for you. And yeah, also we're here. You have our emails. We can put our emails in the chat later if you guys would want us like email us questions or if we can help you guys out with anything else. We're always here and we're available for you guys. So yeah.
Yes.
That was
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry. So I was just gonna say that is so great, and I kind of just wanted to echo on everything you just said with my own experience. So like I came out of state, so I left my family in Maryland. I came here. I didn't know a single person in Pennsylvania. I was used to always having good grades in high school, always being involved in presidents of lots of clubs, but I relocated to a place where I had no mentors, no family, no friends, and it was really overwhelming for me. My in college is hard. My freshman year, I failed 2 classes. I failed 2 out of the 5 classes I took. And it hit me really hard because I'm the first in my family to go to college. My parents are working really hard to pay for my education. And my one responsibility was to do good in classes, and I failed. And it really affected my mental health and my GPA. And it was from there where I made a good support system with friends where they were able to help me find the resources. I was able to learn to talk to my professors, go to tutoring, find actual mentors around my school that could help me feel like I have a system here. So sometimes we will experience those bad situations, but we learn from them. I was able to bring up my GPA from the 2.5 that it was up to the 3.2 that it currently is now. It took a lot of work. And it took me all the way into my junior year to be able to bring up my GPA to where it needed to be. So don't feel discouraged if something similar happens to you, because you are beyond capable. You are so capable and you will succeed. You have the resources here, and I believe in you. I don't know if who's there, but I believe in you. Just know that.
Thank you, Melanie, for those words.
We're
Those
all
are very
here for you.
powerful.
All of us are here for you. We just send out the emails. It doesn't matter what school you go to, you know, we're all in this together. We're all like, we all struggled in one way or another. So the best way to help each other is to support each other. And so it doesn't matter where you are, where you're from, we are here for you. At least the 5 of us that are here. And I know that Maria Alejandra, also you as well. I'm sure you're there for them as well, but all of us are here, and we want you to take advantage of that opportunity, that if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to talk to us. Feel free to ask questions.
And one thing that I would ask, what would you give advice to for Latino and Latina Latinx students that are first time generation students attending in a higher education, university, college, community college? What would your advice be? Because it is a challenge for our Latino community to access higher education, and that's why we're doing this presentation. And I thank you all. You have done a marvelous job. I wish this info could have gone out there 4 years ago, 10 years ago, because it is a challenge for first time Latino generation students to go to college, and sometimes it does feel like you're alone in the process and you don't know where to start. And that's why I reached out to LHPA, because we have various committees in different parts of the state, different counties, where their parents did not go to college, so they did not have that mentor, that person to guide them through the process, the deadlines they have to face. What would your advice be to first time students attending college? And so I'll leave that, whoever wants to answer that, what would your advice be?
I'll start. Okay, so I was also a first generation college student, and I always found that it was really hard. But honestly, you need to find people who will help. If your parents don't know, your guidance counselor might know, or you need to research, because it's not easy and you're not going to figure it out by just sitting around and thinking this is hard. You need to find somebody who will help. Maybe if you have somebody who's already applied to college, or even you can reach out to us. Like, you can reach out to any college student who has been through the process, because they will be willing to help you. We will help you. kind of like Melanie said, it's okay if things don't go right. You have to just know that you are capable. A lot of times as a Latino student, I can feel like, it's hard not to feel like people are thinking that you will fail. Sometimes it's easy to see that people don't necessarily think you will succeed. But you have to know that you are capable. And even if you get a bad grade once, you have to say, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I do next time? Like Mel said, you didn't reach out to your professors enough. Okay, next semester you will do so. And that's something that I've had to learn too, is maybe the way I study does not help me. So what can I do to improve and not let myself fall behind? You will find sometimes that like it's not easy. College is not easy, but you can find a mentor, you can find somebody on campus. Like we said, reach out to people with similar interests. If there's a Latino club like us, they will have gone through the same things you were going through, and they will be willing to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
I honestly, I'm going to second that completely. Do not be afraid to ask for help, and put yourself in groups that will lift you up. So like, for example, for me, the Latino Club, when I first joined as a freshman, was a support group that would put me up and encourage me to do better. So like, for example, my freshman year, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did skip a couple of classes, and I will be 100% straight with you. It was tough. It was tough. It was tough to find the motivation to go to class. It was fine. It was hard because I was like, why would I go if I still don't understand it? But the Latino Club officers that year were like, you need to push through. You're gonna do good if you go to classes. So you have to put yourself in a group that will lift you up and that wants you to succeed. Just surround yourself with that, because it is hard. It is hard. And I'm sorry, we're not trying to scare you. We're trying to be straight up honest with you guys. But if you don't have that support group, if you don't reach out for help, even if it's not, if you don't want to go to a club, fine. But if you want to go to a learning center, if you're doing bad on the classes, go. Please, please, please ask for help. You guys, do not be afraid to ask for help.
So my advice for you would be to take care of your mental health. Many times as a first generation college student, we feel the weight of the world on our shoulders.
Yeah, the
because
pressure's on.
It could be the expectations from your parents, from your guardians, trying to be a role model for your siblings, or even just wanting a better future, or having to support family back home. Like, these pressures are serious, and it's okay if it gets to you. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to cry. I cried. I felt frustrated, but also know where to find your resources. So like schools have counseling services that are free. You pay for that in your tuition. So make sure you take advantage of it. If you want to journal, if you want to use your weekends as like relaxation days, or whatever you do to cope, do it. If you want to go out maybe once or go to a party, do it. Enjoy your college experience, and make sure you're taking the time to take care of yourself. Eat, sleep. I tell everyone, make sure you sleep, make sure you eat, because without sleeping and eating, you're not productive. You're not giving it your full potential. That would be my advice. Mental health, eating, and sleeping.
Yep. And if you don't eat and you don't sleep, then the things that you were studying for, they're not going to pay off, because your brain's not going to be fully functioning. So like Mel said, eat, sleep, take care of your mental health. Those three.
Yeah, that's definitely very important, especially if you start to get involved along with your classes. It's gonna take up a lot of your time. So time management is like really important. So you won't get too overwhelmed with everything that you'll have going on, because your schedules will be packed. But if you're doing things that you enjoy, then it won't feel like such a burden, and just take time for yourself. I think another important thing to know is that you most likely will not be good at everything. And that's just something that you'll need to accept. Like, I know I am a perfectionist. I want to be good at everything. I want to get A's at every subject. And sometimes it just won't work out, but you cannot stop trying. Like you have to keep trying. You have to keep going to tutoring sessions. You have to keep begging your professor to give you extra credit. Tell them you don't understand, even if they have to explain the same thing over and over and over and over again. At least they know that you are trying to understand the subject and that they can take that into consideration when grading your stuff. They'll be like, oh, at least this person, they approached me, they didn't understand this, but they're trying. Let me be a little easier in grading. Some professors might not, but others will. So just always grind. You can grind from Monday to Friday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is your days off, but always stay grinding from Monday to Friday and then take rest in between to self-care because you're gonna need it. You are going to need it.
And then one question to kind of turn it around for parents of Latino students. You are there, freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior, sounds like, what would be your advice for our parents that are going to be watching this, the recording, or what can I share to the parents? What is the best way that a parent can help a Latino, Latina, Latinx student to succeed and or maybe to understand, what would your conversation be with our parents? So la pregunta es qué comentarios, qué decir los estudiantes de Penn State Harrisburg dan a los papás y a las mamás que son estudiantes latinos, en qué forma debe de apoyar el papá o mamá a ese futuro estudiante o el actual estudiante latino. So, ¿cuál sería el consejería que darían estos estudiantes? So, vamos a abrir para una respuesta. So, this is my last question that I have for you guys. I don't know who wants to answer that, but what would your advice be for our parents of Latino students? What would be?
I got one, and it's a super small thing, but it literally means the world to me when my mom does it. So before exams, I get really stressed, and I call my mom and I tell her I have an exam. It's at 3. She says, "Okay, cool. I'll pray for you." And then I call her after the exam, and as soon as she says hello, she doesn't ask me how did it go. She asks me, "How are you? How are you feeling?" And that means a lot to me because when talking to many of my classmates, their parents put such emphasis and such like need in having to get A's and A's. But part of college itself is learning. It doesn't matter if you don't have that A plus, but if you learn something and you're able to be confident that you truly know it, I feel like that's the greatest thing ever. So just as a parent, ask your child how are they doing? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te sientes? Those are the most important questions you can ask them, especially if they're feeling stressed.
And for the parents to say, hey, I'm here for you. How can I help you? Is there anything I can do? ¿Quieres que te cocine algo yo? Like, do you want me to make you some food? Like, anything, anything that shows that they're there to support, because many times we will be stressed out and we will be grumpy and we will be, at least me, I will be sleep deprived, even though we said we shouldn't. We don't do it. But sometimes whenever you forgot to study, you might pull an all-nighter. So hey, I'm here for whatever you need me to do, and to relieve a lot of the pressure of, like Mel said, it's not going to be perfect the entire time. So just be patient with the process.
Definitely. I have to say, being a first-year student, like I just survived my first semester. That was the biggest thing. My parents, they call me every night. I call my mom almost every day after lunch, and that's my support system. Being a student athlete is not easy. So having that support system be there always, understanding, being like, it's okay, you can come home, I'm here for you, or simply just writing your day when you just had a really, really hard time. So I would say that just talk to your children all the time, be there for them.
This is so funny that we were talking about this because my mom just called me. She calls me every day before we go out to dinner. I think honestly, just that, just showing that you care, that you're there. Again, I've also cried after a bad exam, and my dad has just been like, okay, it's okay to cry now, but what are you going to do about it? Like, how will you make it better? Not just, yeah, we're going to cry, but what can you fix? How can you fix it? And then also, if I go home on the weekends and I tell my dad, can you please make me locro de papas? He will say yes, and he'll make it. Stuff like that, that just makes you feel at home for a moment. It'll
Aw.
help you get through the rest of the semester.
Honestly, you guys, there's nothing better than when you're not living at home and you go home and your parents like give you a home cooked meal. Because my freshman year, it was based off Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, ramen, cafeteria food, and I'm just like, I'm over it. So going home to a home cooked meal, like un pozolito, unos taquitos, things like that, it's just like you're feeling at home. You're
It
feeling
feeds your soul too.
yes.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Another quick thing. I know this can be really hard for Latino parents, but you also have to learn to give your children space in a way. So we want your support, we want your reassurance, we love your food. However, we need space because right now we're growing as young adults. We're determining who we are. We're changing. We're going through changes that we still don't know are happening. So if we want to go out to a party one night, it's okay. It's part of life. If we want to try different events or try something we've never done before, those are things that are going to happen. So I just giving your child that space to grow and develop without being judgmental or without really, I guess, just giving them that space. But also, if your child is doing things they shouldn't do, be a parent, tell them, give them advice, you know better. But also just be aware of that space that they need.
Can I ask a question?
Great. Mhm.
Okay,
Yes, go on.
so is it possible for me, like, I'm not a first generation student because my parents already went to school, but not in the United States or anywhere abroad. And I'm the first person to go to school outside of my country. Do I still like fall in the place of first generation students?
Actually, girl, you and I are in the same boat. Because my mom and my dad didn't go to like college here. They went back in Mexico. And I'm in the same boat as you. Honestly, I think so. I think we kind of are in a different way though, because we don't know how it works here. Our parents don't know how the system works here. Like in Mexico, it's totally normal for the students to be living with the parents until they graduate college. Like we don't have dorms. But whenever I came here, I was like, okay, bye bye, because all of my friends are leaving, so I'm gonna leave too. So it's like a completely different just way of life that our parents had to go through than we did. So I think in our own special way, we are first generations, but not fully. So I understand that.
Okay, thank you. And another question, I'm not Latino. Is it possible I join the Latino club? Maybe like if I end up coming to Penn State Harrisburg.
Oh, absolutely, girl. Absolutely. It's funny. Our what was he? Vice president last year. He was from India. He liked the Latino club. He liked us, and he was a executive board member. We have people from all over the world in the Latino club. We're just a support group for each other, and it doesn't matter if you're Latino or not. You can always come, and you're always welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if anybody else has any questions, any final thoughts, any final advice, Sam, if you want to close it out, I do want to say from the bottom of my heart, I wish I would have had all of you as a support person to go to when I went to school. I wish I would have had all these paths that you guys have provided and have really walked us and the parents through college. And to be honest, when I inform people in the community, the path to college education is there. It's just a matter of connecting our Latino students, the professionals. So I want to thank everybody who's here tonight, and the students. You guys did an amazing job, and I'm not just saying that to say that. Like I am texting or members who are parents, and they have children who started their first semester this year, in such a crazy year. And that's why I approached the LHPA and asked, look, we are missing information in our Latino community to Latino students, that college is possible, that yes, it has its challenges, but look at all of you guys. You guys have met those challenges with enthusiasm, with hard work. And thank you so much for connecting tonight. And it is being recorded. People are texting me, hey, are you going to share this? So I'm like, yes, let me ask first. How can I share it? So thank you so much.
Thank you for giving this opportunity to us. I think I can speak on behalf of the 5 of us that we are all super, super thankful that we did this, and super glad that we're able to help other students in a way that at least some of us would have liked that we would have gotten the help from. So as long as this can help at least one person, I think we're happy with the outcome. I want to thank all of the students that showed up. I know one of them already left, but thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I know it ran a little bit longer than we wanted to, but thank you again. Remember, we are here if you have any questions. All of us dropped our emails on the chat. Feel free to email us with any questions you have regarding to, if you want to come to Penn State, the 5 of us are experts on that. I mean, not experts, but we're pretty good at it. We all managed to get in. So feel free to email us. And thank you again to the LHPA members for putting us in contact with you and Milpa. And we hope that we can do this again any day.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah,
Let me stop recording.